been playing the game since the very end of week 2 of the game's release. There have been lots of boosted shiny events, and I have only gotten shinies in these events 3 times. It would actually follow the pattern that we see in other Pokemon games where you chain catches. If so, maybe the odds are a little bit leaner, and if not, the odds are a little bit more stringent that you're going to get that shiny Pokemon. Did we just catch 4 Pokemon using 4 biscuits? So if you've settled on something purely because it was mono, you might need to rethink that. Happy screen time, and thank you for subscribing for weekly Pokemon Sleep Road Tomfoolery. Today I am bringing you breaking news. Well, I've been doing extensive research at Professor Neroli's request. I have been staying up all night, night after night, trying to figure this out. It seems like there's something weird about the shiny logic in Pokemon Sleep. This is unconfirmed. It is a theory, so watch at your own discretion. But I've noticed that a lot of players seem to get duplicate shiny Pokemon, either of the same species or even of the same evolutionary line. Now, anecdotally, I came onto this very early on because my very first shiny Pokemon was a Swalot, and my second shiny Pokemon was a Gulpin. And I thought, that's weird, I already have this. And as I watched around Reddit over the last year and a half or so, I felt like when people showed their shiny Pokemon, I would often see duplicates, but there was not enough conclusive evidence to try to predict anything. Until now, when I sent out a survey to all of you to say, have you seen this as well? And the overwhelming response of players who have played over 6 months is that they have at least one shiny duplicate, or a shiny duplicate that is within the same evolutionary line. Now, does this prove anything? No, definitely not. But is it possible that with the good shiny odds in this game, that it's bound to happen that people will see duplicates? Yes. But the fact that so many of us have seen a duplicate makes me think that there's something going on here. Especially because there are players who have not seen a duplicate still, which is possible. And there are early game players who have seen this. My very first shiny and second shiny met this criteria, but early game players have not seen this as much, so I don't remember what the point I'm trying to make right now. But the point I'm going to make next is I haven't seen a shiny Eevee even once. I've been through Eevee Week 2 times. I've been playing this game for how long? I have not seen a shiny Eevee. I want to get that shiny Umbreon. Some of you have seen a shiny Eevee, and some of you have seen many shiny Eevee. I don't think that just happens. I think that there's something in the game's code that makes it more likely that we find duplicates of shinies. And I'm going to explain the logic that I think is behind this. I'm not a software developer, but I do work in software and I work very closely with software developers. So I've heard software engineers discuss how to solve certain problems, and one thing that they often do is if we've already solved one problem somewhere, we can just take that code, tweak it a little bit, and use it again somewhere else. And I believe that the same checks and the same RNG things behind determining new sleep styles are the same sorts of checks that happen for shiny Pokemon. Let's talk through what I mean. We know that there are RNG considerations at play here, but there's also seemingly other conditions that need to be met in order for players to get new sleep styles. We know that there are new sleep style odds that can be boosted, and we know that even when those odds are boosted, we can still get 0 new sleep styles. Now stay with me here. If there are new sleep style odds, the inverse of this is old sleep style odds, if you will, and that means you are much more likely to get sleep styles that you already have than you are to get a new sleep style. Sound similar? That obviously sounds like shinies, right? You're more likely to get a non-shiny than you are to get a shiny. Pretty simple there. Let's keep going. Actually, before I keep going, one pro tip is that this is actually a reason why it's worth using a new Pokemon incense right when a week begins for an event, like when a new Pokemon is added and the spawns for that Pokemon are boosted. if you can get that incense out, get that new Pokemon unlocked, you essentially are able to bypass the new sleep style check when that new Pokemon is boosted for that week. So that's not to say that you won't see that Pokemon again with a new sleep style. You're just more likely to see it again with the sleep style that you unlock the first time that you do it. Now, unfortunately, if you unlock a sleep style that's not at the place where you are, like I unlocked the 3-star Alolan Vulpix on Greengrass Isle with an incense, but I was never going to actually see that one spawn naturally again, so that's a risk that you end up taking, but most of the time that's not going to happen. You're going to get one of those lower sleep styles, and then that Pokemon is more likely to show up throughout the week more and more. Another thing to point out here, if you don't believe me about unlocking a new sleep style, making it more likely that you'll see that Pokemon with that sleep style again, I'd like to introduce you to Aggron, who showed up at my camp last Friday, and you're going to see this later in the video, but then proceeded to show up Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. But I only got one sleep style, which was the 2-star sleep style. You'd think that I'd be more likely to get the 2-star sleep style and then get multiple times the 1-star sleep style, right? But because there's some new sleep style check, I didn't have to pass that to get the 2-star Aggron again. So I was able to just get it again, and again, and again, and again. So hopefully we're all clear now. The odds of seeing a Pokemon that you already have and the odds of seeing a sleep style that you already have are higher than getting a new Pokemon or a new sleep style. Now, obviously we don't know everything about how this works, but the reason Neroli asked me to do this is because I have a higher number of sleep styles than other players. So he's thinking, if I have a higher number of sleep styles, maybe I should also have a higher number of shinies, right? The next little bit is going to feel like I'm bragging, but I'm only bragging to the extent that I can make a point. I think I have a higher number of sleep styles than most players. At the time of recording, I have 563 out of 664 sleep styles. Now, I'm interested to know, how long have you been playing? How many sleep styles do you have at this point? Am I actually that much farther ahead of you, or do I just think that I'm great? I have done 568 sleep sessions, which means that I average 0.99 new sleep styles per session. And if I compare that to my total spawn counts for Pokemon, that means anytime a Pokemon spawns in my account right now, I have a 12.79% chance that I'm going to see a new sleep style. I think that that's on the high end of things, and we know that it's RNG based, but if my number that I have to beat is 12.79, I'm going to keep beating that. That said, I think that the number that you have to beat to get a new sleep style with the RNG is flexible. I think it depends on your drowsy power. I think it depends on a lot of different factors. Your research rank, it depends on the number of sleep styles you already have, potentially. I mean, I don't really know, right? But I'm doing something right to get so many sleep styles. I don't exactly know what that is. That said, I have that high number, but I still have plenty of days that I don't see new sleep styles. And I've come to believe that there's actually a throttling mechanic to prevent you from getting too many new sleep styles too fast, and to ensure that the progression in the game is iterative. So just like a skill specialist has a pity proc to ensure that at some point it will trigger its skill, I mean every Pokemon has one, but skill specialists are lower, but I think that new sleep styles has a throttling mechanic to ensure that you don't get too many new sleep styles too quickly. Otherwise, we would just fill our spawn pools all the time and get new sleep styles. The point is, it's not totally random. There are new sleep style checks. I think we already went over that point, so we'll just continue. All of this to say that a new sleep style is not just RNG based. There is some kind of new sleep style check. A player has to meet certain conditions. Again, don't know what they are, but they seem to be there. One other point before I talk about shinies, I've also experienced on more than one occasion when I've clicked the fast forward button and logged on my sleep styles that it looks like I have 2 new sleep styles on the field, but I actually have 1 and it's just repeated twice. And this means that as spawns are being determined, as soon as a new sleep style is unlocked, the next time it rolls, the next Pokemon spawn, it's no longer considered new, it's considered existing. Alright, so are we getting way off topic? Maybe. But I actually think that all of this applies to shiny Pokemon. I think that there are shiny checks in the same way that there are new sleep style checks. We also know that there's an RNG component, the RNG for shinies being a lot less likely than a new sleep style. So that means that when the game is checking for shinies, if you already have a shiny of something, if it's not a new shiny, it's an existing shiny, then you're more likely to see that shiny again. It's a theory, right? It doesn't actually change any of the way that we shiny hunt in this game. We still have to just try to maximize our spawns. We still have to just get insanely lucky. But at the end of the day, if there's a Pokemon that you really like and you get it shiny, well, you could keep hunting that Pokemon because it's more likely to come back shiny again. I think. I also think that the logic does not apply just to a Pokemon species. I do think it applies to the evolutionary line because I've seen a lot of Pokemon that are in the same evolutionary line where I don't just have the duplicate of a single of those species. And there's plenty of other Pokemon and evolutionary lines that I don't have shinies of at all. And so why would I keep getting the same ones over and over if something like this wasn't true? I also want to call out, I've been playing the game since the end of week 2, the very end of week 2 of the game's release. There have been lots of boosted shiny events, and I have only gotten shinies in these events 3 times. 2 of them were during Christmas, and 1 is about to come up. Spoilers. But 2 of those Pokemon were ones that I already had. I actually got a new shiny Weepinbell during Christmas, and then another shiny Weepinbell during Christmas that you may recall. You can go back and watch that video if you want. I also already had a shiny Bellsprout, so 3 shinies of the same evolutionary line now for that. And this week, I'm going to see another shiny that I already have. It's one of the ones that was boosted. So if it ever gets boosted again, I imagine that I'll see it again. Now, I don't think that getting 2 shinies of the same one are going to make it more likely that I'm going to see another one. But if that's the case, it would actually follow the pattern that we see in other Pokemon games, where you chain catches, like in Pokemon Let's Go, or where you chain the other, I guess you chain the catches in the other shiny hunting methods too. I just haven't really done it that much. So, good luck hunting shinies. Maybe this is something, maybe it's not, but I think that it is. And if there's a shiny Pokemon that I love and I really want, I think I'm going to hope that I get it so that I can actually keep shiny hunting it. Now, if there is any kind of chance that a shiny Pokemon's odds increase every time you find it, there's got to be a cap on that too. There's got to be a point at which they say, okay, well, we can't have it just keep growing until you eventually see that Pokemon shiny every time. There would be a cap there, but I actually think it's just that very first check. It's the same as the new sleep style check. It's just a, do we already have this shiny Pokemon check? If so, maybe the odds are a little bit leaner, and if not, the odds are a little bit more stringent that you're going to get that shiny Pokemon. Like and subscribe. Now let's talk about my week in Pokémon Sleep. It is Valentine's week in my account, and we are guaranteed desserts and drinks. Some Pokemon spawns are boosted, notably Aron and Grubbin, who I am still hunting, and so I'm going to be spending the week at Old Gold Power Plant. Now, I didn't prep a berry bomb, but the night before, I did stick in an all-electric team with Raikou, just in case he procced in the morning and could get me a bunch of berries across a whole bunch of electric berry mons. And I don't know about the timing of this video thing, but it worked out. You're going to see it, or you already saw it. I also stuck on a Dedenne who did not proc, so that was disappointing, but whatever. The next thing that I did right away was took my Quaquaval from level whatever it is here up to level 60 to unlock that second leak spot. If you're trying to get lots of leaks around level 30, you're going to want to use a Dugtrio. If you're looking for a Pokemon to give you leaks at level 60, you're going to want to get an ABB Quaquaval. Now, this one is great, and let me tell you, I got leaks. Okay, I got leaks coming out my pantry. And I did take a page out of Velociraptor's book, The Power of the Bag, and I did spend some time on Sunday prepping specifically the ingredients I was going to need for the initial meals of the event. Maybe I started that prep on Saturday, I don't exactly remember. The other thing that I did kind of on a whim was leveled up my Skeledirge. I had Skeledirge sitting at level 30 for a long time, and I decided, you know what, I have the resources, I'm going to take this thing up to level 50, where it gets Helping Speed S, and then I'm going to give it a Silver Seed to Helping Speed M. I am never going to want for apples again in the world. This thing has Ingredient Finder M, it has Helping Speed M, and it has Ingredient Finding Up Nature. One day when I get it to level 60, I will have even more apples than I will ever need in the entire world. Let's check out the night. I got Balanced Sleep, but that's not going to matter because every night is Balanced Sleep. We had 2 Aron spawn on the field. If I have my way, I will be catching them both, and I did. So let's check out those Aron. The first one is ABB. It has Helping Bonus at level 25, which is awesome, and it has at level 75 and 100 more good things. I really want a 3 meat treat Aron, a triple bean sausage one. The next Aron, ABC with Berry Finding S. I'm not really interested in using an ABC Aron, but hey, this one, I mean, I don't know what to say when it's a bad one that I don't want to use. I feel bad to just insult it right now. I don't have a problem transferring it, but I don't know what to say. Okay. Oh, Archibald also got a 200 sleep hour ribbon, and partially the reason I put it on my team at night was to get apples in the night. But I figured, well, I might as well be getting more apples in the night than berries because it does have Berry Finding S. So that's where the Helping Speed comes in. Plus, the berries are helpful for leveling up Snorlax. But anyway, the next night, as you're seeing, we got a new sleep style. We got the 4-star, well, I guess, okay, Ditto, they're all like 4 stars, but the Gengar Sleep, which actually is all of the Ditto spawns that we need for this account. And what did we go catch? We got a Hungry Ghastly, but we ignored it. We went and caught a Grubbin, and then we used more Great Biscuits to catch a thing, and then we went back and caught the Ghastly anyway. I forgot. Okay, are these Pokemon good? The Ghastly is ABB. We already have our ABB Gengar Bonjour. It's awesome, and this one, Speed of Help Down, is not awesome. Nothing is going to compete with, I have the best possible Gengar basically. Another ABB Aron, not what we're looking for. Helping Bonus, Ingredient Finder M and S, again late. It's too good to not consider for later. An ABB Grubbin, again, don't need a Mushroom Farmer, have an amazing Gengar, so a little bit disappointing. Good stats late again. The next night, Slumbering Sleep, and we had another Aron show up and another Grubbin show up. We got a new Pommy Sleep style, and we got a game crash, but bringing it back. Upon resuming the game, I realized this is a Pomo, and it's Electrifying Sleep. It's all sparkety and stuff, and that's pretty cool, which actually gets us all the Pomo Sleep styles. I did not think we would get those that quick, but here we are. We had a Hungry Magnemite on the field, we went for a Grubbin and an Aron again, and did we catch them both? Nope, the Aron got all full. We did go ahead and drop a Biscuit on Magnemite, and then we went for it as well and caught it. We're gonna look at Magnemite first because I care more about the other one and I like to torture myself. Helping Bonus, Ingredient Finding S, this would have been a sweet Shinx because I want ABB on a Shinx. I transferred the Magnemite. The Grubbin AAC. I don't want this Grubbin. It's got also too much inventory. Again, with the Ingredient Finder super late at level 100. We need to be able to use this along the way, so stop doing that. The next night, taking these pictures. Did you see what I saw? I see what I saw. There's something shiny. Did you see which one it is? It's hard to see. Okay. Hey, we got an Aggron Sleep, the 2-star Aggron that I told you about. And in the picture with the Aggron, did you see that? Something shiny. Now, Outgrown 2-star, as you know, is going to show up again. We got also the 4-star Butterfree Sleep, which you already saw. We caught a shiny Aron, which is a shiny that I already have, so that's weird, right? But it is what it is. I still want it. Because we had an Aron all full on us yesterday, I first used a Great Biscuit to bring up a different Aron that was on the field so that we didn't waste any of our luck. And we, of course, caught the shiny Aron with a single Poke Biscuit because it is a guaranteed capture. Now, I did also drop my bonus biscuit on a Laron because that was also an automatic catch since it was hungry. And I dropped a single Poke Biscuit on a Pichu, which mega hit. So we actually got 4 Pokemon using not that many biscuits today. Wait a minute. Did we just catch 4 Pokemon using 4 biscuits? That's kind of cool. Now let's review these 4 Pokemon. We're going to start with the Pichu. The Pichu has Berry Finding S to start. If it has any helping speed at all, we're going to be interested in keeping it around for a long time. It doesn't, but man, finding that BFS just feels good, so I didn't delete it right away. Laron. Laron has ABA, which is not what we want, but oh, look at those stats. 2 ingredient finding sub skills. That's pretty cool. Probably won't make our cut. Now, the not shiny Aron, AAC, not what we're looking for, but it does have Berry Finding S, and it has great sub skills. Just not what we want. Okay, the moment of truth. Darn it. Hi, Aron, ABB. Helping bonus, awesome. Ingredient Finder S and M are great, and an Ingredient Finding Up Nature. Wait a minute. This Aron is an amazing coffee farmer. I didn't want him to be, and now this is rocking my world. And we're definitely going to have to keep him. We'll talk about what I'm going to do about that later. Next, leveled up Go Bear, my Meowscarada, to level 30. Now it can unlock milk for us. If you didn't know, this Meowscarada has Ingredient Finding S and M, and Ingredient Finding Up Nature. Also has Helping Speed level 50, which will probably never see the light of day, but kind of awesome for milk. It's going to produce something like 70 a day on average. Alright, the next night we got Snoozing Sleep. Again, doesn't matter, pseudo balanced. We got a new Luxray sleep style, 3-star Spark Sleep. That's cool. That's the rarest Luxray sleep style, and it's not even boosted this week, so that's pretty fortunate for us. We got a Hungry Shinx. I love you, Hungry Shinx. Let's do it. Just fed my daily biscuit to that Hungry Shinx, even though it took me a long time to decide to do that, apparently. This Shinx is ABC, so darn it. I already know I don't need coffee now, right? So not that I would ever really consider ABC mons anyway, unless they're what I'd call a C specialist. We can talk about that later. The whole week I was making Zing Zap Spiced Cola and switching out my team specifically for making that dish. It was already maxed from like the first day because I had been leveling it previously. I did not use the Clodsire Eclair dish the whole week, but on the Sunday I went ahead and decided, hey, we might as well start leveling this dish. I'm not worried about getting more strength. And it was the 3rd time we ever made it. We made it 2 times the week before, just in case we did want to use it this week. And then we crit on it, which was awesome. So congrats to me on that. So that was Sunday breakfast. The next night, or the next thing was Dozing Sleep. Wow, I'm losing my brain here. We got 3-star Palm E now, and that is going to be 3 out of 4. We still need the top belly variety. And we had a Hungry Drifblim, a Hungry Mimikyu, and a Hungry Pichu. And so we crashed the game. We decided to drop the bonus biscuit on Mimikyu. I'm not super worried about hunting Mimikyu, but since it's there and hungry, I might as well just get it a bunch of pips. Typically with this kind of Pokemon, I might just gamble if there isn't anything else that I really wanted. So I give it 1 more Poke Biscuit so that it would bring it up to 3 left in case we could get it to come back hungry again, and then I just left it. I also did drop a single Poke Biscuit on Drifblim just in case it had a mega hit, which it didn't. Why didn't I catch the grubbin? That's weird. Oh, it's because I have all these mixed feelings now about coffee farmers. Do I need one anymore? We ended up getting to Master 17, which I was not expecting us to get that high. But how did we do that? We got a lot of crits on the week. Obviously you saw that Sunday one, but we saw crits all the time because I was putting into Dene, which I don't have a great one, but I was letting it hit a few times so that I'd had 25% odds, and then I hit on those odds like a bunch of times in the week. It was great. Meanwhile, I was chatting Velociraptor up and he was like, I'm not getting any crits, what's going on? Sorry, dude. I took all your crits, and I was at lower odds than you the whole time. You know what? We have one more sleep session to review from Old Gold Power Plant, so let us not forget. And we got Mimikyu atop belly, that's a new sleep style, and we got Mimikyu busted sleep, so we actually have all of the Mimikyu sleep styles. We had a Mimikyu come hungry, and initially I was like, I'll feed that one a Pokebiscuit, and then I was like, wait a minute, I can buy a Great Biscuit, I can finish out the not hungry Mimikyu first, then I can drop my biscuit, my bonus biscuit, on the new Mimikyu and just get it way started again, right? Make use of that biscuit economy. But it mega hit. Then, feeling like maybe I should get to Grubbin, we had 2 on the field, so I knew I could guarantee catch one of them, and so I went for that. If you told me that I was going to catch 2 Mimikyu, I'd be like, I used Master Biscuits on a Mimikyu? Like, what? But here we are. Let's review these. I'm going to start with the Grubbin. This Grubbin is Mono Coffee. This has the chance to disrupt this shiny Aron that we got if it was anything but neutral. It is literally neutral production of coffee. And we'll look in a minute at the RaenonX numbers to see if it's worth using compared to my other coffee options, because we gotta analyze this Aron. Okay, Mimikyu. This Mimikyu... Scrolling. Scroll faster, me. Scroll faster. Skill up as helping speed us in. Okay, so this one is Calm Nature. This one would be good at level 100. But not before that, so I probably won't use it. The other Mimikyu, let's check it out. Skill Trigger S is great. Helping bonus level 50 is a pleasure to see. And main skill chance up. Okay, hey, that's 3 good things if I've ever seen them. Heck of a lot of inventory on this Mimikyu, but it is what it is. Now, as far as analyzing these Mimikyus go, I have one that I caught from last week as well, and I sent them over to Velociraptor, so go check out his video where he helped me review these Pokemon. He has a Review Your Pokemon series that I highly recommend, specifically if you have Pokemon that you're trying to figure out what to do with and you have kind of odd scenarios that you're trying to figure out. Mimikyu for me, I have 3 good Mimikyus. I wasn't planning on hunting Mimikyus, but when you have 3 good ones, it's like, okay, the game is just throwing these at me. If they're good, maybe I should use it. But I was like, should I be thinking of Mimikyu as a generalist? Because it's kind of like a berry Pokemon with its skill, but it's also obviously a skill Pokemon. So I wasn't sure. I sent him Velociraptor in to say, what do I do with this thing? I asked him a bunch of questions. You can find out about it. And now I know which Mimikyu to use based on his recommendation, which was excellent. I mean, it's going to need a bunch of main skill seeds and a bunch of leveling, so it's going to be a while before I actually invest in it if I do. I think that I will at some point, just because, you know, you got to use what you get, and got a good Mimikyu here. Well, I got 3 good ones, but we're only going to use 1 for sure. Valentine's week was fun. Aron. Oh, we got to talk about Aron. Yeah, let's look at some of these RaenonX numbers. Here's the deal with my coffee farming situation. You may recall that I set out to catch an AAX Grubbin that would meet our needs. Well, I found one that has Ingredient Finding M, Ingredient Finding S, and Ingredient Up Nature at level 30. It checks every box, and it produces on average 70 coffee per day, which is like great. Made me not need to hunt a coffee farmer very quickly. But I always knew that I was going to want to get a long-term one. I just didn't think that the long-term one was going to be a shiny Aron. So that gives me a bunch of mixed feelings, I guess, but I'm going to show you some of the screenshots from RaenonX. What I looked at is, in the longest term possible, who is the best coffee farmer that I have? And the answer there is actually basically a tie between this new shiny Aron and the Charger Bug that I caught last week that was Mono Coffee with the weird nature that I don't remember what it is, but it's Speed of Helltown or something. That actually brings me to a point that I want to make. I have that mono coffee grubbin that I caught. It will, at level 100, produce 65 per day. So basically, an all mono Vikavolt with all neutral production is going to bring in 66 basically coffee per day. One that has what I would consider the unideal nature but has the sub skills to overcome it at level 100 is going to bring in 93 per day. So what I said before about ignore those natures, well, it's that nature is still better than neutral. It's better than the complete average one. What's insane to me is that I could invest that one to level 100 to get 66 coffee thinking, oh, this is mono, I'm going to settle on this. But that's not the full story, because my level 30 Vikavolt, with its good sub-skills in nature, produces 70 a day. That outproduces this one at level 100. That's crazy. So if you've settled on something purely because it was mono, you might need to rethink that. I'm just saying. The charge bug that has the unideal nature makes me think, well, if I'm going to use a mono coffee one, I want to find a better one than that still. But if we compare that to the shiny Aron, which would be an Agron eventually, that we just caught, it produces essentially the same coffee per day, but also 23 bean sausages from its A ingredient. And that, again, that's on average. We know about how RNG works. We watched that other video, right? Here's the other weird part of this. If we take this Agron and we evaluate back at level 60, which is the current cap in the game where we can actually get this to, this is where this gets funny. So this new Agron can get up to 68 on average coffee per day, which is actually less than the Vikavolt that I have. So I still think that this shiny Aron is the long-term investment. When I get it up to 60, it will be the same production essentially as the current Vikavolt that I have, but once it gets to 75, an ingredient finder M kicks in and it just gets way better. So like when we look at that very long-term thing, this is a great long-term investment. There's no downside here, and I'm probably not going to find a better one by level 75 and 100 than that one. That's my opinion. And to find one that's shiny, okay, I actually ran the odds on this thing, and it was like on that probability, how many more thing. And basically, to catch an Aron that's this good at coffee farming, it's basically like 0.12% chance. And I caught a shiny one of those, so like, I've got to use it, right? All right, we've talked enough about that. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about the stress that this causes me. So we've solved our coffee problem, right? Oh, well, wrong. We were hunting Aron for bean sausage. But if we use Aron for coffee, we don't want to also use him for bean sausage, which we do have a bean sausage Aron option in our box, Sleezers, who I was hoping to get a better one of, because right now, kind of like with the coffee situation, we have a Charizard doing bean sausage. It's level 55. We don't want to get it to 60, but it produces so much bean sausage for us that I haven't been stressed about finding a farmer. But if I'm going to use Aron for coffee, then I need a long-term bean sausage farmer that I feel good about. And you might be thinking, well, Ivan Brown, why don't you use Charizard? Just go hunt that. Well, I have a shiny Charizard, came to me as a Charmeleon, that is a ginger. It's ABB, but it's also an amazing ginger farmer. Like, it has the sub skills. It's totally usable, better than usable in my opinion, because it's shiny. Well, if the game gives you a shiny Charmeleon, you use it, but if it gives you a shiny Aron, you have second thoughts. Well, it's just about that economy, right? It's about the long-term planning. It's about what I've been hunting. The good news is we've been trying to hunt Stuffle for that bean sausage, and we will just continue that hunt. So that's what I'm going to continue to do. Look for that ABB Stuffle to solve that problem. Some other things that I wanted to just mention, you can call them deep cuts or not, but I am sold on Dedenne. I'm going to be trying to catch a good one. I was using a not great Dedenne and had tremendous success with it. And so I think as far as a 16 Pitmon goes, Dedenne is well worth the hunt, and I'm going to be trying to hunt a good one of those, especially because I'm building around an ingredient strategy anyway. Thanks for watching, everybody. Let's do this again sometime. Happy researching. I didn't have to pass that to get the two star. Oh, we're gonna do it's no longer considered new, it's considered old again. And I think that, where's all my notes on this? If so, maybe the odds are a little bit leaner. You're gonna want to use a Doug Treat-Out. Hope you don't mind that the deep cuts are getting cut in because I'm getting too lazy to edit this separately. I'm just gonna fast forward this a bit on my side, and I looked around for a bit. I'm gonna cut this part. So yeah, just fed the photo. Let's actually just talk about it. Wait, what day was that? Sunday. Why does it go back to Saturday? No, it didn't. That was right. Went ahead and made the Clodsire Eclair again. Leveled it up further. Maybe we'll show that, maybe we won't. Yeah, and that was all my notes. Alright, I don't remember if I already said that. So if I didn't, great. And if I did, then I probably cut this part. And this is in the bloopers, and here we are.